we go. Had this one circled on the calendar.
We're streaking.
Another one.
Celtics, Rockets. Hey, you got to play the schedule they put in front of you, right?
You got to beat up on the teams that you're supposed to beat up on.
And you're supposed to
So-
win games like this the way you won games like this. And
But
so
that's usually not what the Celtics do against teams they're supposed to beat up, but they did it today.
yeah.
Amit should have said Boston Celtics ground Houston Rockets. A little play on words. It's a little producer note right there. That's a little tip.
Yeah.
That's a little free one. Grounds the Rockets.
Yeah.
He's never using
Yeah.
it.
Well, he can't now. It's mine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
So anyway, Bobby's at the
Anyways.
game. Bobby's at the game. We'll talk about it. You had the return. I mean, the things to talk about tonight are obvious. The return of Jaylen Brown. Also, Rob comes back, and then what that does for the rotations that we felt that we were starting to dig these last couple of games. Positive and negative. It's a snapshot. The problem with Houston is nothing matters. Nothing mattered. You could play,
right.
you could play a game, where you played a ton of ISO and, had very few assists. And yeah, they got the assist total up a little bit, but I think it was 11 or 12 assists after 3 quarters is when the game was played. So not a ton of, not as much movement as days before. Definitely more jumpers, but the threes were falling. Tatum and Brown getting into their bag and hitting their contested twos and getting people excited. But it's Houston. You can do that kind of stuff. But Grant goes to the bench. Schroeder goes to the bench. And there's ripple effects all around. Jaylen's on a minutes restriction. Everything's a little weird tonight. So just what your initial thoughts, guys, on just how Ime played this group now that he had his guys back. Bobby, you're there. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think what you saw tonight was mostly matchup based, and that's the tricky thing with evaluating Ime is I do think he's very matchup obsessed, like Brad was to some degree. So you end up with a game plan on offense where you're attacking mismatches, you're going a lot of isolation, and they're okay with that when you're going at guards and Alper and Sengun on switches and things to that degree. So that was good. Defensively, I didn't love some of the mixes they put out there. You had Romeo and Grant playing together in that first half. I'm not crazy about the Cantor minutes. I'd rather see you staggering bigs than going in that direction. But, you were in an interesting place for Brown. Limited. Rob, not necessarily limited, but felt like it held him back a little bit in that regard. So you're right. You can't take a ton out of this. This is a game plan where you essentially let Tatum, Brown go directly at some of these bad Houston defenders, and that was a ball game. So there wasn't a whole lot of scheme and takeaways on either end of the floor. I do like Al Horford getting going, though, from 3. That was important.
Bobby, what's going on behind you? Is there a concert or something?
Yeah, I don't know why that music keeps going.
This is
I know it's 80s night, but geez, what's going on?
Yeah, no, I got it. It was Bobby. I was just double checking.
Oh, it was Bobby, all right. What do you think? It's one of us?
Wait, was it not?
Party?
No, it wasn't Bobby, was it? It was Jimmy, wasn't it?
It's not. It was not me. It was not this time.
Jimmy's playing his comm app, his dance app.
Yeah, I'm
What's
waiting for the
joke?
comment.
I missed
I'm waiting
what's
for the
going on.
comment.
Who was that then?
That was Bobby.
We'll give comm a quick shout. 40% off.
Okay.
Comm. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, yeah,
Jeez,
40%
the 4-minute
off.
mark.
Damn.
Well, you should get it out.
Make him
there
work
early.
for it. Make him work for it a little bit.
We'll get
Anyway,
back. We'll get back. We're not gonna show you Jaws in Act 1. We're just teasing it, but
Right.
Well,
we'll
the,
go in action here.
I think to some regard, yeah, I get what you're saying, Bobby. I mean, obviously, this isn't the most talented team out west to come in here and match up against this team when you have someone like Jaylen Brown back and Robert Williams back. But I thought they're a type of team that makes you run, right? And I think transitional defense was probably the biggest concern those first couple of weeks, right? I mean, defensively as a whole was, and started from a certain extent, but I think for the most part, it was teams like these, regardless of what their record stated, that could keep up with the Celtics on any given night, right? Maybe it was a combination of, we got this because we're playing against this team, combined with athleticism and maybe not necessarily mismatch bases, like what you talked about with Ime, but more in the sense of how long can these guys keep up without Ime having to switch up and going deep into his lineup or deep into his second unit. He didn't have to do that a whole lot, right? And we talked about what this will do for someone like Grant Williams. So maybe Grant Williams did kind of come back to life, so to speak, because now that Robert Williams is back into the lineup, but he's still going to have those minutes. He's still going to be those minutes will still be available for him. So in the long run, I think this is a good start for these guys to sort of get ready for the norm. When Jaylen's in the mix and Williams is in the mix, and even though Jaylen was on the minutes restriction, it just didn't feel that way. I mean, like, that's how much in his bag he was. I mean, that's the combination of him and Tatum. That attack combined, I thought was great to see. For Jaylen coming back from the injury.
Yeah, it was. Like you guys, it was good to see Brown hit those shots, and he had a few in a row there in the second half, and sparked the team, kind of pushed the lead out. Tatum's still hot. I mean, he went through quite a slump, and now he's kind of on the opposite end. Now he's just another 30-point game, and that's kind of the performance that you need. And we said this before the season started: the Celtics need 30 points from Jason Tatum to win these games. Now they didn't need it tonight because they're playing the worst team in the NBA. But he still was able to give you that, and it's the way he's doing it. Yeah, I know John's going to talk about how he put up some threes and whatnot, but I saw him going to the line. I mean, I saw him going to the hoop. So he's still kind of mixing it up there and being a little bit more aggressive than he was to start the season. So I was happy to see that. I mentioned Brown already, and the other guy, Rob Williams, 15 rebounds tonight, 1 field goal attempt. Didn't do much on the offensive end at all, but still led the team in plus minus 15 boards.
I know. Let's. I know it's Houston, but we don't have to have bad habits, right? It's okay to get Rob the ball and try some lobs and not shoot contested twos and not get in your bag and behind the back with your threes. I don't mind. We don't have to do that. And yeah, Tatum mixed it up and he got to the line a little bit too, but he definitely got that little swagger on and watch me dribble. And a couple of moves are great. I mean, oohs and ahs sort of moves.
Oh, he had that first one to start the game, and then it was we're going to get a little bit more of that.
He broke a couple ankles and he got in his bag, but also a lot of it was, I'm setting you up for the sidestep, less of that, it's also because you're not taking this game seriously, but I like
that's what it was.
I like the points in the paint game. I like the high assist game. You want to see them doing that, all the time,
right?
And not fall into the my shot your shot thing here. You didn't like seeing I didn't love seeing the low assist number tonight, but again, nothing matters. It's Houston. It's like a scrimmage.
That's the thing. You want them to treat it like a practice, but they're not going to treat it like a practice.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to just try to do weird stuff and see what they can. But when you have a guy like Rob who is capable of what he's capable of doing at the rim, and he only gets 1 field goal attempt, that is pretty weak. I mean, that's just, like you said, almost like a lack of execution. It's just kind of just freestyling.
They could have. This is one of those games they could have showed up.
What the hell is going on over there?
For 10 minutes and won, and they basically did in the sense of
right.
That's what they did. They
the Rockets hung around for a quarter, and then
we forget this was a close game, and then the Celtics literally were like, "Oh, okay, we'll play this quarter," and then they did it. 24-3 run in the third, 26-point lead, ball game. That's all you needed. I mean, Jaylen spurts. What did he have? Friggin' first game back, kind of quiet. Then he's like, "Okay, bang, 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 bang," scores 10 points in 60 seconds.
Yep.
Back-to-back threes. Yeah.
I love those runs from him. They get the building going.
It's unreal, right? It feels like
jumper in transition. Yeah.
And it hit that when he does it, when he goes on those runs, I feel like the ball doesn't even threaten the rim. It just splash every time.
And then he starts bouncing. He's bounced up and down the court. It's here he goes.
It's so good. It's stunning when he misses. When he goes on one of those runs, he just pulls up
when he gets into the pull up. Yeah,
and then he starts trotting back up the floor. He starts bouncing. He's looking at the crowd. He's about to. He's not done. That's just the beginning. Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool part. It's
that layup too. Oh, what a great streak he had right there.
Yeah, but you survive 8 games without him. And then you're like, oh, thank goodness, just having that other option there, even if he is quiet for a period of time, that it's there and it's like, oh, wow, he can take over a game. So that was like a teeny glimpse of it. It was good to see. Overall thoughts on Jaylen in the limited action beyond that run. I mean, I thought he looked exactly the same.
Yeah,
Jaylen Brown.
Same.
Jaylen Brown
which is something you can't complain about, right? I mean, wasn't a bit slow, was just about the same. That's perfect, right? And especially for this game. against a team like the Rockets, it was a great warm up for obviously the Brooklyn Nets and beyond. So yeah, I like what I saw from Jaylen. I thought that he was aggressive in certain spots, and he knew exactly when to get the green light from the 3-point. It was almost like he just smelled blood and was like, "This is my time." He came back. He was out of a timeout too. I thought that was great.
Bobby, you have to explain what's going on.
I'm trying to go through.
Scal is on the court shooting threes, and there's like a entourage. There's a whole section full, like going crazy.
So you're there. You should tell us about this. So we just don't think
we can hear it.
We hear it. It's literally all we hear. So
like
report.
The third time we brought it up too.
Be the reporter.
There you go. That's exactly what's going on. Scal is like
hitting
pumping up
shots
the crowd right now. No, I'm seeing a lot of misses, and now he's walking off.
Good.
Like old times.
So yeah,
now he's kind of explaining why he's off to one of these security guards.
Oh, like the dress pants, the shoes, sure.
Yeah.
The fact that
anyway, I thought Ime said some interesting stuff pregame about Jaylen and Jason. So talk a little bit about them learning to play off each other. You know, that was kind of the exact words he used to talk about that dynamic there, because he says they're going to stagger them a little bit through lineups. You know, they're not always going to play together, but when they do, it was almost like he was challenging them to kind of find some cohesion and chemistry, bounce off each other. In a game like this, like I said, isolation, attack, and mismatches, which is something Ime talks about too. It's almost like two different things, because you didn't see them playing off each other at all in this one.
At all. In fact, I'm trying to recall a time when one passed to the other.
I don't think there was one in this game.
I don't think there's one. And I'm not saying it as like, but it really didn't. It was literally like there were two guys almost in alternate universes, you know, playing side by side at the same time. And like they never, ever, ever crossed paths. Like they never crossed paths when they play. And that is always the challenge, is how do you get guys with these? And again, everyone's going to be like, oh, negative time. It's not. This is the challenge. Brad couldn't figure it out either. How do you get guys whose greatest strength it is to just be one-on-one scorers to play together? It's a hard thing to do. It hasn't quite worked yet, you know, but like, that's when these guys is like, give me the ball and let me cook. That's kind of what they do, you know?
Yeah.
we do only have one player.
What's up, Josue? You got
over to Al.
Josue, what's up?
Somebody said Bobby got that McLovin drip.
So I was going to ask what was going on with the vest. Is that say golf on it? And he's gone.
Oh,
he's
man.
like, he's not here for the swag.
You guys upset him with the McLovin stuff.
It wasn't me. They said it. That wasn't my material. It's the people.
But you did bring it to the broadcast. You did.
Well,
you did go there.
I thought
people are asking in the chat why I don't go to games. Jimmy, have I gone to enough? Have I gone to enough games to not have to?
John
keep going
is
to
the
games?
game.
No,
yeah,
John.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It would cost a lot of money to get John to go to a Monday night Celtics Rockets game. It would take a lot.
I've been to many games. Not just Celtics, every sport. You know,
nobody's trying to go to Celtics Rockets on a Monday.
It's not. We have jobs now, okay? Bobby's job is to go there and to be the reporter and to bounce off unannounced dramatically and jump on Zooms or jump in interviews and do his thing.
Right.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
I've been banned.
Back before live to YouTube existed, John was at his fair share of games. You still go to Pat's games.
Yeah, man. Don't make it sound like that. It wasn't that long ago. Shit.
Wasn't that long ago?
I was sound like he was on AOL or something.
I was going a year ago with you guys. A year. Well,
I know.
Pandemic, I was still going a bit.
He was pissed off next to you when Kyrie took 45 minutes to do his postgame scrum.
But the show didn't exist.
The Kyrie
Zannis
year,
is like the one night I come, he wants to pull this. Cool.
No, the Kyrie year, I went to like 40 games. That was terrible.
Oh, yeah,
you were there that night. That one night where he left us waiting for so long, you were pissed.
Someone's right here. I would have to bathe, and I would probably have to put on pants that fasten.
That's so 2019.
Yeah, we need to put you in a complete new wardrobe.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't been to a game since pre-COVID. I used to go to games.
Jimmy would go to all of them too. Yeah,
I've been to.
Jimmy's also welcome to go to any games he wants to. If Jimmy wants to get in the action,
But you know what?
Saturday night Jimmy at a Celtics game. I like that.
Oh man.
Oh, you wouldn't
Great
like
talk.
that. You wouldn't like that.
Yeah, crazy shit could happen.
Bobby's doing his thing right now. We'll let Bobby continue on with his.
Yeah.
Once the playoffs come around, we'll kick Bobby out of the games and we'll just go, John. How about that?
Yeah.
Nah, he's probably in the post game scrum, but he didn't get to drop his line as usual. I'm gonna go check out email.
I know.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, they're talking about my vest. I gotta go.
Yeah, gotta go. Yep.
I gotta
Don't
get
like
back.
it.
There's gotta be a
He
story.
comes back wearing
behind it.
something else. I'm gonna lose it though.
There's gotta be. I don't even think he golfs, so there's gotta be a story behind it. He'll
Just let
explain
him
it in
do.
full.
He's trying to kind of Sager his way into this beat, you know. Like, I think
Oh, come on!
Yeah.
Don't do him like that.
No,
That's just
he
him,
is.
man. That's
he
him.
wants to have his look.
Yeah,
I respect that.
we know about the hat, the infamous summer league hat that people still
That
remember.
thing's awesome.
That's the Bobby look.
I love that. That hat was
He's
great.
going for his own look. That's what's up.
Can we go back to the game for a second?
No. Let's just talk about Bobby.
I was like, I don't think John wants to.
No, go ahead. Go to the game.
I just want to say this is a negative thought.
John's having flashbacks to 2019 right now.
This is a negative thought. I was very excited to see all the kids come in with like 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but they all kind of stunk.
No, you had that Neesmith.
Neesmith hit the three right off the bat.
But
Right off the
outside of
bat.
that, though,
He hit two of them, and then it turned into Vegas League.
Yeah, and then our boy Cantor had the nice and one, which was good to see. Although I think I don't think he deserves the garbage time minutes, but he was in there for that.
Yeah,
I feel like this is what Ime is, though. I feel like even though it's not even December, I feel like he's gonna start carving out that rotation.
Can I tell you about our boy Herman?
Yeah, he got some playing time.
Oh, Herman Gomez.
Herman Gomez, 6 minutes, no field goal attempts, 1 rebound, 1 steal, minus 11.
Yeah.
For Herman.
You think he got the memo not to take 20 shots?
I don't know, man. They're like, yeah, you did 5 shots in 6 minutes last time. They're like, dude, chill.
Yeah.
This time it was Neesmith. Neesmith 5 shots in 6 minutes. Hit the first 2, and he was like, oh boy.
He rimmed out the corner 3 where Cantor had the and one putback. That one was halfway down. That one should have went down. You got to hit that one.
I'm gonna do this, okay? Tatum, great, 30 something. You know what you saw today about Tatum?
That's the 4th time he's dropped 30 something.
Right.
Man. Don't just drop it all willy nilly like that.
4th straight. What I love about it,
4th straight?
Is
4 straight 30+ games.
Signs of. While I was kind of dogging it a little bit earlier, just saying like, let's not get into this habit of being just that. It is nice to see the old Tatum, breaking guys down and just hitting, shots over people and just kind of having that like unstoppable vibe.
Yeah,
He had bits of it tonight where it wasn't like oh god, let's get it in and go. He looked like he had that kind of lethal scorer thing going tonight, which is like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do and you can't stop me. I love seeing that, out of him.
Yeah, clearly the best player on the court, like no questions asked.
Right.
Yeah.
That type of game, even though he wasn't like automatic or anything close from 3-point range or anything like that. But when he had the ball in his hands, you felt like, okay, this guy is clearly like a cut above the rest here. Aside from Schroeder, obviously.
What he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what he's supposed to do. Yeah.
And I think it was I think it was John, right? He used to drive you crazy about the way he used to finish at the rim now. I feel like he's
stronger.
Yeah, he's stronger now. A bit more.
But even over the last few games, like it's just a little bit more, it better.
Well, remember what used to drive you crazy was when he used to do the wrist thing. Yeah. Now he's making those moves beforehand, before the first step, and he's being much more meticulous in his cutting through players instead of just thinking he's going to draw a foul by waving his arms like this. He used to think that was enough to get a foul. He understands better now.
Jimmy has a point.
Yes,
I want to see it Wednesday. I don't even care. I want to see it Wednesday with the Nets in town. Kevin Durant, James Harden.
I'm with you on that.
Blake Griffin.
We want to see everything Wednesday.
Then I will praise Tatum. I mean, like
this is
we
a
said,
revenge game.
This is great. I mean, 30 points is great no matter who you're playing. It's the NBA. It's a very talented league for the most part. But I want to see 30 or upwards up there Wednesday night with the Nets in town against a contending team, a team that you're going to have to beat at some point, whether it's further down the road, playoffs, whatever you want to call it. That's when that you're feeling good. Is when you're putting up those numbers against a team that has something to play for. These Rockets have nothing to play for.
I mean, that's the thing is like
Done talking about this Rockets game.
No, but what I will say is like the 4 games worth of goodwill that they've built up here or whatever it is, if they go get smoked by Brooklyn, that would certainly all go away. But
humble pie.
Right now, people are feeling good about it. You know, you stepped all over the Lakers, which was good. They were a bit of a wounded animal, but they also just played like dogs, and the Celtics took it to them and absolutely just beat them, you know, start to finish in that game. So that was great. And then you've got these 2 cupcakes, which is fine. You're supposed to win these things easily, but like, yeah, you definitely want to see the Brooklyn. We'll talk about that matchup in a little bit. I want to stand a little bit for Romeo tonight because this isn't an agenda-based thing. I'll call it how I see it. I loved Romeo tonight. Everything about him. I loved it. No, I loved it. Some of the rebounds he grabbed, how active he was, how athletic he looked. He was just really, really springy. He was able to get to his spots. If he finished a couple, he could have really had a nice game because he got to the rim. He got to that kind of mid-range, not all the way to the rim, but just, you know, pulled up for a couple and just kind of, you know, was a little bit strong with a couple of ones early. But he looks just he looked so like in place tonight. And again, maybe it's the competition, but he just looked like had that vibe of like, I'm as good as everybody out here, so I'm just going to play basketball instead of like, am I allowed to do this sort of thing, or let me pick my spots. He just kind of played, and I like that.
I saw some of that for sure, and you saw the confidence in his shot as well. Like to your point, it was zero hesitation. But then also in transition and you know, coming off fresh off the bench, you didn't see any sort of like reservation in the sense like, wait, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be, you know, some of those things that we talk about with Romeo, where it takes him like a couple of plays to really get into things, but we didn't see that tonight. You know, I felt like we saw a little bit of everything, and we saw a lot more confidence. I feel like for sure.
Romeo definitely looks better than me this year. I mean, there's a clear assertiveness to his game, not a burst in the lane, but he gets to spots where he feels comfortable from. And like you said, John, even if it's in between, he can get some looks there, and he's able to dribble into his spots. I want to see a little more.
That's where I thought he would score more.
Yeah.
What's funny is less there and more hitting threes, which I didn't see. I thought that would take a little longer to come. But again, the stroke was there tonight. I want to see him finish a little bit more when he gets into the in-between range. But yeah.
And on those wide open threes, I mean, I was looking at the numbers a couple.
Everyone stopped hearing Bobby, right?
Yeah, we lost him.
We lost you, Bobby. You muted yourself by accident. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I was looking at the numbers through the first 3 years of his career on open looks, and I was like, oh, the number's pretty good. It's like 60%. It was on 5 looks. So he's just starting to get in the rhythm.
That's usually enough of a sample size for you to make a case.
Yeah,
though.
what do you mean, dude? That's right up your alley, dude.
Well,
he's 2 for 4 to start the year.
It does make me give him some leeway in terms of getting some rhythm off these Tatum kickouts and some other guys finding him in those corners, where he's had a few, I think one good game, I forget which one it was, going on a little run there from that spot, but he gets open in that spot regularly, and he's going to have a Grant-like efficiency out there, because that's the guy that teams are going to kind of lean off there. I want to see him get some more opportunities to create off the dribble a little bit too, like we talked about with Richardson. Now, when Richardson comes back, he's probably the kind of player in this spot who makes Romeo a DMP in a game like this. But it is good that you can pull him up in this spot and get some good production like they did from him in this one.
I love it. And it's it's what stinks is in order to unlock it, sometimes you need like a Richardson or something to be out. You know, you do wonder in that full lineup how many people's minutes are going to go not to zero, but are going to go down significantly. Like what happens to people when Richardson is around. It feels like Grant has
with the one exception. Exactly. Huh? I was just going to say,
I feel like he's found his niche because they're pretty depleted on as far as bigs go. How
about Silas pregame? I wasn't expecting that one.
I know Bobby.
We're paying a lot of attention to Grant Williams. That's the first time I've ever heard that in my life.
That's the first time anyone's ever said that.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, he was 1 for 2 tonight. So maybe whatever they. I mean, he had a fine game, but he wasn't certainly part of the
That is
offense.
50%.
That's the thing
Yeah.
we talked about last time. And again, it's really hard to say whether it's just a byproduct of tonight and you don't really know because, again, nothing matters. But the fear was you take Grant away from the starting lineup where there's attention drawn to other players and he can stand in that corner all by himself and no one's going to notice him. Or, as we said, someone like LeBron brazenly, actively ignoring him in such an obvious way.
Well, LeBron wasn't paying a lot of attention to him.
No, literally just
I feel like that's what he was. That's the reason he said that. You know, I feel like he looked at the previous couple games and was just like, I'm not going to defend Grant the way these guys are defending him. Like, no one's respecting him out there. You know. Yeah. It's like, I know your secret weapon or what you think is your secret weapon. Well, I'm hip. I think that's what he meant by it.
The fear was, he goes into that second unit and he can't really do that as much. And then would there be people who could create for him? Would he be all alone? And he only got the 2 looks tonight. But again, nothing matters. So it's really hard to say if this is going to be a thing. But
nothing ever matters.
I do want to see what happens here when he's relegated to kind of that second unit thing. Jimmy wants to speak again. He made it.
No, I don't. I'm like getting anxious about. I'm done with this game. I think because we keep saying nothing matters, so let's stop talking about it.
We do. You have to point out that silly Grant foul though. It's a stupid flagrant. He's good
Bobby,
for one
what's
of those.
going on now?
Yeah, Bob.
Hopefully, whatever it is wrapping up. There was a million kids on the court. Now they're gone. Anyway,
Just tell us though.
Tell us.
We can hear it. We can hear it.
Every time you
It's
speak,
like it's a season ticket holder 5-on-5 going on right now.
Right.
there was like 50 people on the floor shooting after Scal left, and now they're gone. So hopefully the music will shut off in a minute. But
is that where you disappeared to? Did you take a couple shots?
Filipino American Heritage Night. There it is on the jumbotron.
That's what
Scal was
Now
showing.
that makes
Scal
sense.
Scal was showing the Filipinos some
So
love.
Scal was the representative the Celtics put out there.
So, for whatever reason, the Celtics are
He
huge.
just happened to be out there.
That's the most Filipino guy
Yeah.
they could find.
The Celtics are huge in the Philippines. I don't know why. I mean, I just know.
Yeah.
So are we?
Well,
Do you
ipso
remember
facto-
those?
ipso
They should have
facto,
had
yes,
us
we
out
are.
there then.
No, but I just remember looking
Get
at
Scal.
like you get like the Google Analytics and you can see like what countries are like looking at your content. Philippines are always up there. They're just big Celtics fans over there.
Weren't we like the second show in the second pot, number 2, something? We when Nick
YouTube.
showed us the world demo, we were extremely high in the Philippines.
I think
John's a
Argentina
god in the
too.
Philippines. When John goes to the Philippines, it's like the emperor. Like, you know what I mean? He walks off the plane and people are throwing themselves at his feet.
It's gonna be like Jordan Clarkson.
We should do a live show from the Philippines.
Jaylen Green, one of the Filipino NBA players. So I guess it was fitting.
Great.
Oh,
No,
I honestly
very
could be
quickly,
part of it.
Jimmy doesn't
Yeah,
want to
he's
talk about
half
this game.
Filipino.
Jimmy doesn't want to talk about this game anymore, so we'll make the natural transition and we'll talk quickly about our sponsor, Calm.
Absolutely.
And by now you know everything about it because they've been with us for a little bit.
Calm.com/garden.
Things like these.
John's having an
Nice.
issue over there, so I'll take over.
No, I'm
Receive
okay. What's
4
wrong?
I thought you were about to throw up or something.
No.
Calm.com/garden.
Jimmy, you
Receive
got to tell the
40%
people
off.
what it is first. It's the number one app.
It's the
for
number
sleep.
one sleep app. You go,
Yep.
John. You have
No,
the. It's the number one app for sleep, but also I'll say this: it's not just sleep; it's relaxation.
There we go.
It's
Yeah.
coming down from a busy day. It's music. It's meditation. It's bedtime stories if you're into that sort of
You know
thing.
you want
Bobby.
to do this. I don't know why you're being weird about it.
What I want to
Keep
do?
going,
No,
buddy.
keep going.
You're on a roll.
Yeah.
I mean, that's mostly what I got. So go to calm.com/garden, receive 40% off a premium subscription. I actually use this. I'm not just saying it. I actually
Yeah,
use
we
this.
could tell. We could tell.
I actually use this, and
I do
it's
too.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's nice.
love-
You can use
you
it for
love
just
that.
like white noise, raindrops, a fan, whatever you're used to when you were a kid. If there was something
Some
that
pop star.
Ariana Grande remixed to like help you fall asleep. That doesn't work as much for me. I'm a music guy, so I can't really listen to music, and it kind of gets me going. But other stuff I can listen to.
Yeah. I can't do it either. I can't do music. It has to be something like this.
Yeah.
Again, it's only a limited time. It's 40% off. Calm.com/garden. Getting good sleep, finding time to rest. One of the most valuable things you can do for your body and mind. So again, head to calm.com.
You know, the holidays are coming.
40%
It's a
off.
stressful time. You know, you're gonna need a little like come down from like, you know, a weekend with the in-laws or whatever it is. You just need to sort of zone out again. John, you know what that's like.
My in-laws are here daily.
Right.
So
Right.
So you're on the Calm app all the time, every day?
So he's
knew
among
that.
the
other
Calm
things,
app,
yeah.
and it's one of his most used.
Yeah, among other things. So again, calm.com/garden. Jimmy doesn't want to talk about this game anymore. Any other leftovers?
Oh, you guys can still talk about it, but I mean, what are you gonna say? It doesn't matter.
Any other leftovers before we move on?
You know what that means. He's just going to pile
In
his
this
shit down.
game, I know you had a thought on Smart in terms of Brown coming back and that dynamic.
No, it's not me. I see a lot of chatter. A lot of people, were like, oh, well, Jaylen's back and Smart, kind of whatever. I thought Smart had a fine game, so I just don't think that at all.
I love that hustle play that you got the charge on.
Yeah.
Setting Rob up. That was a good one. I do get worried. I've been talking about this for 2 weeks now about breaking up Schroeder, Smart, and that rotation. They put it back in right before halftime, and that's when they really built the big lead with Schroeder, Smart, and Tatum. There's a nice dynamic there, like Rob playing off Smart, Tatum playing off Smart, Tatum playing Smart playing off Tatum, Schroeder off Smart. Like they all just kind of complement each other so nicely. And you're not going to bench Brown, but I just didn't love sending Schroeder to the bench. Didn't look like he had great rhythm early. It
took him a little while to get going. He's like, what am I doing out here? Am I just supposed to do everything? And he was out there with Tatum to start in his first bench stint. But yeah, it was a little different.
Yeah, it ended up going down
I think
to like Romeo, Grant, Smart, and Horford, I think, was out there with them.
Right.
No, Cantor ended up checking it.
That's right.
They got pretty deep into the bench.
Came in early in the first. They did go deep early.
Yeah. So I like
some
them out there
guys
with
just
most of the
play
starters.
better in the starting lineup. They like to hear their name called from the in-game stadium announcer. They like to get fired up. Yeah, some guys just he's kind of like a swaggy guy, and you know what I mean. Like he kind of feeds off, I think, a little bit.
I agree. I
like.
There's something to that. I like starting better than coming off the bench. There's no question about it.
I mean, that just sometimes just gets some.
You're out there, it's like
you still get to stand there and start, for the national anthem though. So
it's much cooler. Starting's much cooler.
Josue spoken like a true bench guy. That's a true bench guy. Like you know what?
I told the speech though. I was the huddle speech guy, so I'll take it.
Yeah. I guess the argument is,
you holding the clipboard.
I got to be the first guy out of the tunnel for the layup lines. I always loved that. I'd be like,
I was a motivational guy.
So charged up, coming right out.
I guess the argument is, he had the 6-man year with the Thunder, but he was playing behind Chris Paul. I mean, there's like a big difference between being behind Chris Paul.
Yeah, but you think that matters, though? I hope this isn't going to be a thing. Because, Bobby, I mean, it's worth discussing, but I hope we're not talking about this 2 weeks later being like, is Schroeder mad? Is Schroeder thinking that he won't get the bag now?
It's not about mad. It's about the mix. I think him and Smart are just such a good duo, and I want them to be out there together as much as possible.
Oh, so you want him to be in the starting lineup with Smart? Oh, I thought you want to swap him. Oh, okay.
No, I like him
I'd send the big to the bench.
Yeah.
Because you hate the double big. Yeah.
They don't. It's not that I hate it. It's that they don't really need it. I don't think it brings anything special to the table. And then they don't play it much during the flow of the game anyway.
It depends what you're facing on the other side, because you really want Tatum bodying up an actual big,
It is very matchup based. Yeah, because it's all about putting your best players in their best position. You're not trying to cater everything to Schroeder. You want to make sure that Tatum and Brown are matched up with the guys that you want it to be more conducive for them than Schroeder. But that being said, if the matchup works, I would be inclined to start Schroeder, because I do think that he kind of
listen. You have 3 guys,
kind of plays off that a little bit.
You have 3 guys on this team that can score close to 30 points, and he's one of them. So why are you going to limit the amount of time that he's on the court? I know he does some crazy stuff. Did again in this one.
You have come around, Bobby.
He has come around. He had an awful turnover.
I never didn't like Schroeder.
Okay.
You weren't. What? The signing? You were like, for the money, it's fine, but you weren't crazy about his game.
Bobby, I already cut all your Schroeder bashing together, and I have the clip ready. You want me to play
I
it?
just like
Oh, man.
we talk about every game that happens on
Josue,
here.
you're
We had
right
2
there with
bad
him.
games.
No, don't even. Jimmy. Look at the
Yes,
play.
yeah, you and
I
Schroeder. I
said
was
from the
2 on
second they
1.
got Schroeder, I said this team is no longer on the bubble to make the playoffs. They're in.
We
Like,
said
they're
that,
we
but then
all
you
said
guys,
that.
but then you
You guys
guys saw
turned
him
on him when the
play,
season
and
started.
you're like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
you
like
and
the
Sherrod.
turnovers. He had
I
another
always
one
said he's the
today.
difference between them being locked into the playoffs than fighting for a playoff spot.
Well, that's
He had-
true.
You know,
He had
Jimmy and
another
I-
one today, right to
reason-
the Rockets, dunked the
He
other
did.
way.
End of the second quarter. Yeah, that was
The
a bad
reason
one.
Jimmy and I are on board with Schroeder is the same reason we were on board with Rob, which is the you only look at people only focus, the detractors only focus on the thing he didn't do and be like, oh, he's a turnover machine. Yeah, but he scored 34 freaking points on a
Right.
night that nobody else could score. Like,
Right.
oh, did you see that play in the third? It's the
Yeah.
same thing you do with Rob.
The
Rob
same
would
thing
get-
that Bobby does with Cantor.
Yeah, Rob would
Yeah,
get.
but
This
that's
is what we
after
do on
L.
the show. We talk
Yeah,
about
but
the
if they
game and
lose.
what happened.
I know,
No,
but
but you
no.
only sometimes
You
focus on
people
the
cherry pick.
yeah,
to-
right. The
it's
check.
so-
It's like that game that he had 6 turnovers, and I was like, I said if the Celtics lost
He had
this game,
8 turnover
you're gonna
games.
blame it all on Schroeder.
The game he had 8 turnovers. I was going 2 on 1 with
turnovers.
Josue and Sherrod. That I'll pull the tapes if I have to pull the tapes.
8 turnovers
will.
is crazy.
So again, with Rob
had
would have
30
games last year and he'd be like
points.
10, 12, 4, 3, 2. And then Bobby would be talking about like, yeah, but did you see how late he was on that one switch? I'm like,
yeah.
come on. Like, why is that it? Like Rob's like literally like breathtaking one-handed dunks over the back of his head, blocking shots with his friggin' face. And we're talking about like the one time where like, oh,
Yeah.
he was so late getting out on that 3. He's basically unplayable. That's what I think we have with Schroeder is the highs are so high, you can live with lows. He's going to have them, but as Jimmy said, or Bobby, you said it, he can score friggin' 30,
Right.
you got to live with that other stuff.
But not
right?
off not off the
You don't
bench
have
as
to
much,
live
though.
with throwing that. This is the thing. Like, there's some things like Smart's threes, whatever. Like, that's how he makes himself guard. You don't have to live with throwing the ball to the other team, losing your dribble, driving to the hoop. Like, that's just sloppy stuff that he can clean up at least by 1 or 2 per game. If he
Kind of,
has,
but
You're
like I
right in
said,
some cases, yeah, but he's not averaging 8 turnovers a
but
game. He
that's
had 4
what
tonight.
he needs to do. If you
He had 4
play,
tonight.
if you play that fast, like that's going to happen. It's the same thing. Like to
Right.
get Jason Tatum going, sometimes you got to live with a little shake and bake and a little whatever because it's just part of his game. That's how he gets himself going with stuff. Jaylen, that's it. There's certain things where it's like, did we really need that tonight? Sure. Schroeder plays a zillion miles an hour. Like he's going to turn the
Exactly.
ball over. He's just playing faster than
And you know
everyone.
what? Guys are starting to play a little bit more like him, and it's working.
Yeah.
They're moving. They're actually,
It forces you to move.
running a little
You know?
bit. Yeah, exactly. They're not
Even though
walking everything up and
Even though
getting
he tends to
stagnant.
hold the ball for a long time, sometimes people are moving, and he's
Yeah.
constantly moving.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's not always going to look for a scoring opportunity. He's looking for an open teammate. half the time.
His driving really opens him up.
His
so
first
much.
step, like when he changes pace, like he can blow by anybody. Really.
They put up that graphic there.
I
Which
think
was
just
really
by design,
interesting.
people just get open because they didn't have that last year. Not even
What's that,
close.
John?
They put that game graphic up there with the field goal percentage for shots at the rim for 2. Did anybody see that during the broadcast?
He's
For
ridiculous
no.
at the rim. I know that.
For like 100. It was like that. It had to have a like 250 attempts or something like that. He was the highest field goal percentage by like 40 points over the next guy. At like
He
I think
never misses at the rim.
it's
Never.
unreal. He's so good at once he
Right.
gets there, getting
Yeah.
that shot. I mean,
Which is like ball.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, this is a guy who had a real case to make. This is what he wanted: $200 million, and he's here for $5 million. It's unreal. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a borderline. I wouldn't call him a borderline all-star, but
He's
a
the closest
good
thing you have
starter.
to an all-star behind the big two. You know what's
Yeah.
funny is like one of my big beefs
Oh, yeah.
this year was
Well, Horford's been all-star.
Yeah, but one of my big
Right now,
problems this year
today.
was that massive talent drop-off that I felt went from the Jays
Yeah.
down that I thought you lost. Like we kept getting worse on that. You went from Hayward, then you went Hayward to, and what did we talk about when they got what's his name?
Fournier.
Fournier. We were like, if Fournier can be 80%, 85% of Hayward, so you're already taking a reduction there, and then Fournier leaves and you're looking at this team and like, who the hell is the third best player
Right.
here? Like, and Schroeder just stepped up and he's like, it's me, I'm that guy. I'm the high talent, high level player that you guys needed.
Now.
Right. I'm the captain now.
No,
he might be the captain by the end of the season for all we know.
He's the only one who wants it. He wants to, he wants to start.
He would have
taken
taken
it. To be captain. He would have
taken
it.
I guarantee it.
Captain off the bench. It's fine.
Yeah.
He would have taken it.
It's like a more stable, consistent version of the Kemba Smart duo. And you look at the numbers, like this version's way better.
It's not even close, right?
Yeah.
Like we were like, if he can be Kemba's a higher level talent because he can score, but he wasn't around. So we thought Schroeder's availability alone would put him ahead of Kemba just because he'd be around. He's better game to game than Kemba right now. Not only, I mean, especially looking this year, Kemba's friggin' literally benched right now.
Fournier too.
I haven't even looked at them recently. I know you guys mentioned it recently.
They're actually not. They're barely playing in the fourth quarter because their unit has been because Rose has been so good, and that unit defensively with those guys out there, even though they start, has been so bad that they're
minus 14, which is just obscene.
It's insane.
Yeah. So yesterday they lost, and Kemba played 17 minutes, and Fournier played 22. Like that's not starting.
They're gone.
Level minutes.
They're out. They're out of that late game rotation.
Derrick Rose is playing 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And John wanted the Celtics to resign Fournier.
I did.
I'd still take Fournier back because what he's doing in New York.
I think he'd be good here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Would you take Fournier? Would you take Fournier over Schroeder? You can only have one.
So you didn't need to. He's on a mid-level. You could add both.
That's not my question.
That's not the question. That's not the point of the exercise. It's not fun that way.
This isn't CBA lesson. This is what would you rather have?
Probably Schroeder.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. You need a point guard, and he's been it. Smart wasn't working in that role early on, and he filled that gap and put Smart back where he was before, and it's working. I mean, they don't shoot at all. Like when they're out there, the team shoots like 50% effective, which is pretty bad. But they win those minutes by like 8-10 points per 100, which is just awesome. Like it's kind of crazy how they make it work with those two at the guard spots. Remember what we said coming in? Oh, they don't have any shooting in the backcourt. How are they going to make this work? Well, here they are, 2 games over 500 and, pretty good on offense over the last 8 to 11 games or so.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again,
so here's a question for another. Actually, I'm not going to ask it.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead. Ask it.
I'm not going to ask it. I'm going to save it for another time.
All right. Okay. Fun, Jimmy, with it.
All right. I can save it for another time. But I was going to say, if Schroeder keeps playing the way he's playing and is the point guard that the Celtics need, and Smart and Brown continue to not really coexist that well, I felt like you guys said Smart kind of had a quiet night tonight. With Brown being back, does Smart become more expendable this season if you can get something and find a way to re-sign Schroeder? I know. I know that. That's why I said I was going to wait to ask the question. But it's just if you're looking to trade something, you only have a couple options. You're not going to get much for Schroeder because he's on an expiring and all that stuff.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, for a couple of reasons, but for the most part, I don't think his value has changed much. Maybe a little bit, but I still think teams look at Smart as he's great for those guys. But I don't know if he could be as productive here, or if we could even get more out of him if we make him a feature player.
The Schroeder future question's so tricky. I mean, if he loves it here, does he stay for another $5 million deal? Like, there's such a
of course not.
By the way, Jimmy, and someone put it here. The question was, I know the point of the exercise was which player do you like better, but it really was Smart or Fournier. So if you could have had Fournier and Schroeder versus Smart and Schroeder,
Smart and Fournier,
what combo would you have liked? That was the money. That was the money there. But again, you'd still be left with the problem of,
but you'd be stuck with Fournier's contract.
But you'd also have to know point guard because the guy you just paid $5 million to be looking for a lot of money the next year.
Right.
So
And your
Right.
defense would really take a hit. We talk about Smart the defender all the time, and it almost gets stale, and it just feels like a little overblown. But they are so much better.
but he's
defensively when
playing
he's
it
out
this
there.
year
Yeah.
so much, and it's
He's
so
playing
much better.
way better on
No, but
defense
even
this
last
year.
year
He's
when he
now,
was out there, they were much
He's
better.
now third in steals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the NBA.
What about potential steals?
It's
That's gonna be the next one. That's gonna.
Celtics are
Someone's gonna
17
figure that out.
Celtics are 18-0 in potential wins.
Potential,
he- here's-
potential
leads the
wins. Yeah.
league with 13 potential steals.
Dude, I mean, I'm looking at Kemba's numbers again. I keep peeking over.
You're gonna
He's-
get PTSD, dude.
I
he's
thought
down-
that was a bad move by the
Kemba's
Knicks.
down to 24 minutes. He's averaging 11 and a half points a game. His shooting
Sean,
splits aren't terrible,
That's
but
their problem. Okay, it's okay. Don't worry about
it's
it.
but it's so funny. Like we went from we went from shut up, he's fine, and
Yeah,
he's playing
yeah.
great, and the knee's not a big deal to like, thank God he's not here right now. And he hasn't even had an injury knee shutdown. He's just going like this,
But
like
that's how these things happen. I mean,
Oh.
you look at the past, especially undersized guards with this sort of history. And
he's unplayable right now.
I think what drove Celtics fans crazy was the fact that he was this Iron Man throughout so many years. But it's just like, well, wait a minute. I mean, that stuff adds up, no? Especially, you're playing 82 game, maybe you're not getting much
I
playoff
know.
experience, but all that stuff adds up, regardless
Yeah.
of
I
regardless of your skill set. I just feel like undersized
Mhm.
guards, herky jerky guards like Kemba, it's just sort of this. Is
I know. Yeah.
This is
He
what
said
happens.
over the offseason.
And none of us saw it coming.
I know.
I,
That's true.
Not
Lesson
anybody.
learned. Lesson learned.
Not a single person in this show. had
I
any
wonder how
clue.
much this. I wonder how much
Rewind,
the Celtics.
rewind to like 14 months ago. Kemba's done, guys. Okay.
Guys, sell.
Yes.
You were like, he should come off the bench. You were like, no
Sell
way, he should
stock.
come off the bench.
From the bubble.
Yeah.
Highlight from the bubble. Look at him. He's done.
I wonder how much the Celtics knew bringing him in too, and were just willing to live with it because of the circumstances. Because
Yeah.
remember, Charlotte didn't even really want to re-sign him. Like they gave a modest offer. Everyone thought that was really weird, and he was like, "No, I'm going for the max." And Boston ended up paying more.
Jordan knew. He was like,
I think the fact that he signed with the Celtics over other suitors possible probably speaks to something too. But that really was a critical misstep in their run here. Could have kept
yeah, but
Rozier. Could have signed
talked
Malcolm
about it
Brogdon.
before, though. You make that.
Rozier didn't want to stay. He saw the writing on the wall with Tatum and Brown. He
Could have
wanted
went Malcolm Brogdon. That would have been a good one.
That would have been unreal.
Yeah, because he's not injury prone. I don't know about that.
But who knows how his career would have taken shape after.
I
Maybe
still
he
say-
doesn't
He's
get
been
those
excellent in
injuries.
Indy.
You go back in time, you're gonna still make that.
Hey, he just
decision.
re-signed them.
Same decision.
Really?
You know?
I don't know.
Or
I say that about the
suspended.
Kyrie one. I don't know about the Kemba one. I know it brought Horford
Really?
back, which is good, but
But
mean,
you
now you just-
realistically saw the Celtics going ahead with Rozier, giving him the keys. And I don't mean that as a knock.
No.
Like he doesn't deserve that. But when you compare it to someone like Kemba, when you look at the track record of what top scoring point guards that they've had, I just find it hard to believe that they would say, you know what, let's go with Rozier over Kemba Walker, and see what happens.
or Horford. You could have kept Horford in the first place, which, looking at how it's going now, Al 2 or 3 years ago would be giving you more than he is right now on that team with
No,
Hayward, Brown, and
They were
Tatum.
I think they were just completely reeling that offseason. I mean, that offseason was bananas. I don't really
Yeah.
think they had a whole lot of time to stop and think. I mean, Kyrie left, Horford left. They needed a point guard. Rozier left. They signed.
They
Kemba.
made a late
You know
run
what I
at,
mean?
at
Like-
Horford that fell just short. So I wonder what they
Yeah,
would have done at
something-
point guard after that.
Half of Celtics ownership were looking at each other like he
What
promised
they were like?
he was
What
going to
just
resign.
happened?
What happened? Yeah.
What just happened?
He said
after
he was
that
going to
weird-
resign them.
They had that weird Milwaukee series too. The
Ugh.
tricky thing, just to wrap
So awful.
Schroeder, they really are in an odd spot with him because he's becoming so important to what they're doing. But they're capped at $5 million to re-sign him next season again because they don't have cap space and they don't have bird rights on him. So I don't know what you do. Like Forsberg threw out that idea of trading him mid-season if you can really sell high on him, and I know it would just like rip the heart out from this team, but. Are you just gonna watch him walk at the end of the year for nothing?
It's
like
really
you have so many
tough.
guys.
This is a very normal thing a lot of teams go through. Like you've got like teams that are like, yeah, we're going to make the playoffs, but we're not going to win it all. But like, if we sell, the fans are going to hate us and the team's going to think, why did you give up on us? And so
Yeah.
do you hold for morale and to
You might
not
just
take
have to hold.
and to not take the PR hit? It depends where you are. If you're tickling that 8, 9, 10, situation there and hovering around 500, it's an easier sell. But if you're battling for a 4 seed and you're like, we're in this thing, and like we're an injury away from getting to the conference finals, who knows what? That's
And
really
then at
hard
that
to do
point,
it. Yeah.
Also, it's like, what's the market? They're not going to do it for. It's not. They're not going to do it unless it's really worth those reasons that you just named.
I'm always I hate letting assets walk. So yes, I think you look at this team and you're at the trade deadline and you're like, they're not going to win it. And let's and you can get something real of value.
Like what though? Like what?
But yeah, that's the thing.
If someone's going to give you like
feel
2 future firsts, like you'd have to think about it.
You
Yeah,
won't
but
get.
Schroeder?
You won't get 2. You'll get 1.
I'm saying if you got something that great.
Okay, fine. If
or somebody gave you a first and a younger player.
There's no way you get 2.
Yeah, but it would be a complete punt though. Like,
well, what if it was a first round pick and a young player that had some potential?
The GM would be fired. Whoever makes that trade for Dennis
Not
Schroeder
really.
rental.
If you think you're a Dennis Schroeder away from winning a ring, you
What if
give
you're
up stuff.
Brooklyn?
You overpay at deadlines. That's what people do. We're talking about what we think is fair value for him. You don't get fair value at trade
I don't know.
deadline.
Some people don't
PJ
overpay.
Tucker got you a first round pick. PJ Tucker sucks. Like
That was a weird one. That was a weird one though, because
he sucks, man. He sucks. Give me a break. Like Dennis Schroeder's throwing 18 points a game. Like this is
first round pick isn't crazy, but I think 2 would be crazy. But
I'm just saying you overpay at deadlines. You overpay.
But don't forget what's happening a lot now too is buyouts. Buyouts now. A lot of teams are just saying, you know what, we'll wait for the buyout market. They're not overpaying.
John Wall.
There you go.
Yeah, you'd probably rather sign John Wall for nothing than trade a first for Schroeder. And could come to that. I don't know what the Rockets are doing with that. That drives me crazy. But I don't know. You probably just hold the line with Schroeder.
John Wall is just traveling with the team, just not playing. He's just chilling.
Hold the line. I'm only saying if a team overwhelmed you, you listen. If you listen for sure.
Yeah. I think there's a chance if you have a really good season that he stays too. Because who's offering him starting minutes? Who's offering him cap space? It's not out there. He's not
going to stay for $5 million. But is there a way?
Where's he going,
Mr. Cap Guy?
Literally
is there a
anywhere.
way? Is there a way?
It's a pretty weak class. It's a pretty weak class.
Name a team in the NBA right now that wants a veteran that doesn't have a point guard.
Guys,
I'd have to look at it.
People sign for mid-levels all the time. He's going to get at least 2 and 20 on the low end.
Yes, but it's not just about the money. It's about the role. He's playing 30 minutes a night here.
Yeah, but
I think it's a lot about the money too.
Yeah, it's a little about the money.
But are the Thunder signing him on a big deal? Are the Rockets signing? Like, the bad teams have money, but they're not signing Dennis Schroeder. I think there's a bigger chance than you guys think that he stays.
Not for $5 million.
I think that's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be another way for them to pay him more money to keep him. Well, they'd have to move current guys.
No, it's not feasible unless you dump Smart. You'd have to do. Remember, we were saying dump all those guys for Beal. You'd have to dump all those guys for Schroeder, which just makes no sense. But what if you give him 3 and 15 and a starting role for the foreseeable future? I don't know. It becomes a little more enticing. I think. Who knows though? Maybe I can't even think of a team. Does Detroit splurge on him? I know they just splurged on Olynyk. Do the Clippers? No, the Clippers don't have money. Teams don't have money right now in the NBA. They're all built up with long-term money to make trades. So it's a bad time to be Schroeder.
Okay.
I think
bookmark this video. We'll see what happens in the offseason.
I got it. 53-minute mark. Bad time to be Schroeder. When he signs for 5 and 100.
Bobby says Schroeder can't make more than $5 million for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
When he signs for 5 and 100.
But Daniel Tice can get 18 per.
Daniel Tice was going to get a multi-year $18 million deal.
That was a trade, wasn't it?
He just signed in the offseason.
I swear he just says numbers. He doesn't even know what they mean.
Tice got close.
He's not a math guy.
He's not a math guy.
Tice got
journalism school, man.
Right.
That's
Despite the professorial affect he has going on right now, he's not a math guy. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he signs for another 1 year. I was like, no, there's no way he's doing that. That's the only way you try to get the maximum bargain out of him, but he's not doing that.
The Tice number was closer to what I said than I think you guys thought it would be. You got a decent amount of money from Houston. What was it in the end?
It was like
12,
12 per maybe.
Yeah. I was saying like 16, 18. He ended up at
I think
12.
you said 18, I think. You said 18 at your work.
Man, he
You
looks
said
bad,
18.
though. He looks so bad on that team.
Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
but he
my
had
God.
opportunities though.
he got 9. He got 4 and 36.
He went to
Oh,
the
you got
rim
9.
like
There you go. You weren't even
He
close.
got exactly half,
Yeah.
and we said 6 to 8 or 8 to 10. So I mean, we were actually
kind of
right,
nailed it.
and you were like twice what right was.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah. So you made our point.
I said he'd get Baines or slightly better, and Baines was 6, so I was guessing 8. He got 9.
he went to the rim like on the first couple plays of the game, and Horford, Brown, like the whole Celtics team just went in there and slapped it away. That was kind of it for his night.
Yeah, there's
Frickin'
certain guys
threes.
who are like will only be good here, and he was one of them.
Want him back?
Yeah.
Yes, I would love him back. Not at $9 million though.
Yeah. So he ain't
That's
coming
sad.
back.
I'll take him back if he.
You don't have that
guy.
luxury.
If he and Schroeder will
John.
trade contracts, and Schroeder will stay, and then Tice
True.
will be gone after this year. That would be the best.
Hey, Tice is a real TPE guy, so I don't think they need a big though. So you're looking more at wings there.
Yeah, he's also not really a big.
Speaking of the TPE,
Tatum's bigger than he is.
I'm starting to look at names, and they're all on the Spurs, which is just tough because the Spurs don't really make trades. It's like Doug McDermott, DeJounte Murray.
I
Derek
love
White.
Murray. I would love Murray, but I feel like he's not leaving San
Someone
Antonio.
just asked this question. I'll throw it out for you guys. Tice or Grant?
Tice or Grant
Grant.
John?
Grant John.
Tice or
Go
Grant? Man,
Grant.
what a crazy.
Well, I guess
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Grant right now. I'm going this season's Grant for sure.
It's tricky because like you got Rob and Horford playing at such a high level now. It's like, all right, of course you don't need Tice. But back then, when Rob like couldn't play and Cantor was your lead guy, Tice
I don't
was
know.
really valuable.
Tice
Yeah, but
was
he's also,
valuable.
like 21 years old.
Grant has never had a role as big as Tice had. with
Tice
the
was
Celtics.
the starter on the East Finals team.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of a loaded question because Tice. I'll be honest. The extent of my Tice viewing of the season is tonight. So I'm basing it on tonight.
You're seeing
And,
the
like,
experience.
No,
Yeah.
you're not. The thing is, he's roughly the same guy he was with the Celtics. Like numbers wise, is pretty close to the same. It's not that crazy off. He's 23 minutes a game versus 24 with the Celtics, 9 points versus 9.5. Like it's not that much. It's like, you know, you're only we saw only tonight, and as Jimmy said, you're not tracking him night in, night out. He's the same friggin' guy, and he was the same guy last year in Chicago, which is not a great player, vastly overvalued by some while he was here, but also provided tremendous value while he was here.
Serviceable player.
Yeah. You know, this is a guy who made you forget about Al Horford in a year. You know, you were like, we're fine with this. Like this for this money is fine. You know, like he was good. He was good.
He did miss some pretty big threes towards the end that I'll
He
never
shouldn't be
forget,
taking
but
threes.
I
like
know.
that.
Well, that's the difference. You either want Tice and not taking threes, or you want Grant and he takes threes now.
No, but
Those
he
short
was
12-footers
athletic.
for him are better.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Remember that Spurs comeback? I think it was the Spurs one last year. He hit like 3 or 4 of them in a row to keep that run going.
I think we've got a little recency bias.
I do too.
here
I'm
with
already
Grant.
changing my answer to Tice.
Well, it's about like what this team needs right now, and it's probably Grant more than Tice, just in terms of the shooting and the foreplay. And
Is there a
No.
third option? But whatever.
John Collins.
Yeah,
I'm good
give
with
me him.
Are we all right, Josue? Or did he have like
Josue's
pass out?
charge.
I'm on like
middle and,
7%, man. Freaking out.
How good would John Collins look here?
All right,
now?
I'm good.
I thought for a while he was going to be here.
You know, when your screen starts getting dim, your laptop's like, yeah, you better hurry up. So.
Yeah.
Well, want to talk a little Nets before we get out of here?
That's all
Yes,
we're going to do.
Been trying
That's all
to
we're
do
gonna
that.
do. A little bit. Jimmy's been trying since the 15-minute mark.
Well, I'm happy with. We weren't talking about the Rockets anymore, so I'm happy with where the conversation went to. I didn't need to talk about.
No,
the
you're
Nets.
right. This wasn't a game that we needed to talk about too much with the game, but yeah, I like the way the conversation went. All right, what do you guys think about Brooklyn?
I think
Bobby.
they're going to destroy the Celtics. I'm worried. They're killing it from three. Durant's rolling. You
Harden's
got
hot again.
Aldridge to throw in the lane. Harden's drawing free throws again. It's going to really test this double big lineup and just the defensive progress that the Celtics have made as a whole. I commented on just kind of how bad the teams that they've seen offensively have been the last week or two here. The Thunder, the Lakers, Rockets, Cavs, and then you saw the Hawks, and they kind of lit up the Celtics on the run there on breakouts and kickouts and driving kicks, that sort of thing. They're going to be in for a better version of that here. And I'm worried about how the defense is going to hold up. This is a really good shooting team. Harris, Patty Mills, Durant,
Mills,
of course.
man. Dude, they literally lost Kyrie, and they didn't really. I mean, they maybe had a bump in the road, but man, like Patty Mills is filled in very nicely, and they're just doing their freaking thing, man.
Yeah, they're not like
they're not unbeatable, but
they're not unbeatable.
Second in the East,
but they're
I still think talent-wise, like who the hell wants to play them in the playoffs? Still nobody.
They're getting by on their shooting.
They're first in the East now.
40%.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they're first in the East now. Okay.
Yeah,
I think this is a great challenge for the Celtics, and I like their chances in this one. It's just obviously going to come down to defense and being aggressive, and the fact that Jaylen Brown is into the fold now. When you think about him not playing in that best of 7 series, the first round matchup last year, I think that's relevant. I think that's great that he has this under his belt going into it. This isn't his first game back, so I think there's some relevance in that. But yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for the Celtics to send a message. You got these guys in the mix, Williams, Jaylen, you're healthy, you're starting 5. You can sort of set the tone here for this season series against the Brooklyn Nets, and I like the chances in this one. I think it'll be a close game. I won't be shocked if they lose in that sort of effort, but I do like their chances in this one.
Yeah, the only message they're going to send, Josue, is we're not as good as you.
This is the kind of game.
It's not necessarily true. It could be, hey, look up. We're on our way. Look up.
I think
that'd be a nice message.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I'm just.
This should be the Christmas game, by the way, but that's just.
I know. I think they'll hang. Well, without Kyrie, you lose.
Who is the Christmas game? Who Celtics got?
Bucks.
Oh yeah, it's kind of a snore. The Bucks just.
Not really.
Yeah, but it's going to be great at Greek family, Zannis Greek family.
Oh, the Bucks.
Celtics,
they're
Bucks.
gonna love that shit. Who you cheering for? You guys cheering
Civil War.
The Bucks are waking up. They were up by 50 at one point tonight.
Is the room going to be split 50-50, John?
There's gonna be a few Greek backers in there, but I think more Celtics.
I want to see the Celtics compete, but I that's just a loser's mentality. Like, I mean, if we're all high on Tatum and he's hot and Brown's back and healthy, it's like you either gotta win these games or eventually what are you? If you're never gonna be good enough to beat these teams, then really what's the point of this team? What's the point of this podcast?
Right. If the Celtics can't, like Jamie said, if the Celtics can't beat the Nets on a night like this or with this momentum, then how do we really feel about this team? Like Bobby, why do you think they're gonna get blown out? Like if they're with this sort of momentum, I mean.
I don't like the way they guard threes. They're too low. They get caught around screens. They haven't versed a team that's made them pay, and you do that to Harris, Durant, Mills, those type of guys, they're going to destroy you. And I don't like – this brings me back to the starting lineup again. Like, I know exactly what's going to happen. That lineup is not going to stand well against what the Nets are doing.
And they're going to toss a big out of there within the 4 minutes in.
And they're going to be down like 14-2 already. Like, I think who you start is important. You can say, oh, it doesn't play a lot.
Who's going to toss it?
Setting that
I don't like it. I don't like double big against the Nets. I don't like it at all. Don't like it. But this is what we talked about, Bobby.
I don't think they'll do it. Although,
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. One game in, he's not going to mess around with it here. He's going to go with it until I agree with Bobby 1,000% until you're like, shit, this is bad.
I'm actually stunned to see this. I'm just looking at the box score from the Nets game tonight. Did you guys know LaMarcus Aldridge played 34 minutes tonight? Like, I didn't realize his goal was. So like that's another.
No, he's playing well.
They can throw. Yeah, I mean, he should probably be starting over Blake Griffin, who only played 9 minutes. I don't know what happened in that game. That was. I don't know if Blake got hurt or something. I think that's an outlier. I think that. Yeah, I don't know if Blake got hurt or something, but 34 minutes for LaMarcus Aldridge tonight.
If you look at the 5 worst qualifying shooters in the league, it's like the rookies, like Suggs, Cunningham, and those guys, and Blake's right down there with them. I think his career's over.
We thought so last year, and like he sold his soul for like a couple of dunks when he got there.
Right? That was savage, yo.
That was fucking savage, dude. He's
Jeez,
just laughing
I
as he says
Bobby.
that.
Anyway,
Last,
Grant-
like,
I think his
like,
career is
fucking bum.
over.
believe it or not, Jaylen Brown just hit the podium, so I am gonna bounce out of here.
All right, we're gonna all right,
Yeah.
Bobby. You
Wednesday.
go. We'll wrap it without you. Bobby.
So,
and
Bobby, your
Joseph-
prediction is Nets and okay. See you, Bob.
Bye.
Nets and a landslide. I think
You don't
is
know
the
how this
prediction.
works.
Yo,
Yeah,
best Bobby doesn't mess around. Yo. Chill
Bobby
out.
and Josue will both be at that Nets game.
Jimmy, you pissed off his vest. Look what you did.
Bobby just murdered poor Blake Griffin and then just pieced out, like not a care in the world.
I think Blake Griffin is dead.
yeah.
I thought he was gonna close out the thing with the middle finger.
No,
honestly.
Aldridge is good.
I
He's
thought he was
playing.
gonna go out like
He's playing 20 minutes a game. He's scoring. You know,
And this guy was. I thought he
12
retired last year.
12, 13 points. Well, he did. He had the heart thing, and they're
I
like,
know.
He
He
can't
came
play
back, they
anymore.
cleared him. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna risk it. I guess.
That
He's
was
like,
so
I got like
funny.
4 different opinions. I'm good.
Bobby just pieced out on Jimmy. That was great.
Hey, it happens. It's not the
Yeah.
first time I've been
An
completely
hour
shut
and
down.
an hour and 5 minutes into this show, and roughly an hour and 10 minutes after the game ended, Jaylen Brown hits the podium. I can't tell you how. You want to talk about why I don't go to games? This is why I don't.
That
go to games.
is a perfect example.
You know how many times we're waiting
After
around
a
in the locker
blowout
room
win, I mean, you
for-
probably had to get treatment and all that
for
stuff.
for
they tell ya.
KG or Rondo, and I'm like, oh my.
Yeah, I heard it was bad
God.
back then. I don't know
Dude.
about that.
They would make you wait.
Just as bad as this, though. To be honest,
This is
11
pretty
o'clock.
bad.
11
Those
o'clock would roll
guys-
around, you'd be waiting,
Would kill you. Oh my God.
and you
Oh,
had
yeah,
to
only
wait.
know Kyrie. For me, it was just those 2 years of Kyrie where he was just taking some.
Oh, Kyrie was coming out, I thought, fairly quick, and he'd do his thing. I thought Kyrie was good about
Oh,
it.
well, yeah, I guess I'm
KG
thinking
was
of,
the
like,
worst.
3
KG and
separate
Rondo
occasions
were
where it was like,
unfreaking real. And Rondo, you knew, was in there just laughing at us.
Oh,
you know,
totally.
Like,
You want to know what was even worse?
Rondo
That-
would do it at practice, you know? But anyway.
You know what would be even worse, though, is sometimes you'd be waiting, and then, like, one of the Celtics PR guys would come out and be like, that's it, guys. You'd be like, what happened? And, like, he went
just
out the back door. I'm like, what the hell happened? We've been here for an hour.
They're like,
Sorry.
he ghosted
Sorry.
me.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
said
it's
he
like
was
a
going to
nasty-
do it, and he
Just
literally
walk
just
out
walked by.
dejected. Like, all right, I guess I'll transcribe my Glenn Davis quotes.
Sometimes we would see them walk by us, and I'd be like, so no? You know?
Yeah, so not tonight. Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, that would always be
they come
bad.
and tell you, John's like, yeah, we just saw him get in his car. Yeah, we saw.
Yeah, he's out.
Anyway, so we'll wrap it. Like we said, we're back on Wednesday. Sherrod will be back as well. We'll let everybody know once again, calm.com.
Calm.com.
Garden, #1 sleep and meditation app for you. Limited time, only 40% off a premium subscription. So go get some now. Once again, the Celtics did what they're supposed to do, defeated the Rockets 108-90. Jimmy, you had a
Grounded.
thought? Grounded.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to just do my last thought.
Yeah,
Are we ready for
what
it?
was it?
Oh, I
Wait
didn't
a
want to
second.
cut you off.
Can I give you my last thought first?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. Mine's not going to be yours. I can
The
tell you that.
Rockets are 1-16. I just realized that looking at our graphic.
Yeah, they
Holy
stink.
shit!
Not only that, they've lost like 15 in a row.
No, I know. I knew they were bad. I just didn't really look at the record.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
that's
just-
why when people refer to them, they refer to them as the worst team in the league. Like that's
No,
how
I
you get
know
that
that,
comment.
but like, I just didn't actually look at it until now, and I'm like, oh my god, is that bad? Anyway,
Yeah.
Jimmy,
At this
what's-
point of the season, the worst team in the NBA usually has like 1 or 2 wins. So.
No, I was just going to hype up
God.
Wednesday's game, Wednesday's post-game show. It's probably going to be one of those games where a lot of people are probably home for the holidays. You know, maybe you're just watching the game, having a couple beers with the family. Come on, join us after the game, and we'll have some fun with it. Win or lose, we'll definitely have some fun with it. I'll probably be I'm going to be at I'll be in my parents' basement, actually, for this one. Going home for the Thanksgiving couple of nights, so.
Yep. Sounds good. So we will do it. I think we're gonna have 3 guys at the game: Josue, Bobby, and Sherrod all checking
Wow.
it out. Yeah,
Full house.
full house there. So that's on Wednesday. We will talk to you guys then. Again, thanks for hanging out. A lot of people asking about Green Room and or things like that. Why we're
Green
not
Room is
doing
dead.
it. It's not dead. We may return
sure.
doing
Not sure.
some sort of chat with fans again as the season goes on, because we do want to hear from you guys. And
You know what I just saw today? Twitter Spaces is a thing now. Did you open up your app and see that?
Shh, we know. This is
Oh,
a
okay.
tease, Jimmy.
Oh, my bad.
But we might
just
be
saw
back
it.
in some form or another. soon enough,
competitors.
doing some sort of chat with you guys because, like I said, we miss you and we like hanging out. And it has been a while since we've heard Dudley. Geez, I don't even know if Dudley likes us anymore.
True.
You know,
He
Chris,
loves his team right now.
Karen.
No free ads. You're right. No free ads. Damn it.
Jorge.
Bleep that out. Bleep that out.
Kess, where are you?
Oh, Kess.
Oh, Kess. Kess would go on some
I love Kess.
spiels.
I miss those guys.
I do too. But we can't recreate it because the locker room no longer exists.
Yo, those come-ons used to be the best.
Yo, come on. Come on.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Yo, see?
guys,
we remember,
I'm gonna
you guys.
Guys, I'm going to say a few things.
Yeah. He starts off really low.
I would literally,
Guys,
I would
guys,
literally
guys.
just lay down. I would be on my couch, just lay down on the couch. I'd be on mute, just listening, and be like, "All right, 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes to go here."
Yeah.
Man.
So that's good. Anyway, we'll hope to hear from you guys soon. For those who don't join us on Wednesday, which I'm hoping all of you do, happy Thanksgiving. But otherwise,
Happy
we will
Thanksgiving.
talk to you again on Wednesday night.
Happy butt fumble anniversary too.
I was at that game. I swear to God.
I was in the studio.
I was in the press box, and with just I honestly, our spot in the press box was basically like the exact yard line where it happened, and I had a great vantage point, and I just exploded laughing like instantly. I was like, oh my god, did everybody see that? That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't
You caught it
believe it.
live.
Man.
That's what's up.
No,
That
it
was
was
so
so
great.
funny, and like the whole place. I've never seen like all the New York Raiders were like, "Oh no, like this
Oh,
is
man.
our guy." They were just hysterical in the press box. That was
Everybody
that
in the
was-
studio was dying laughing because it was like
That
it was
the height of
Thanksgiving.
His rise too.
So everyone's like working and having a good time, and then that was just so funny, man.
Yeah.
That was just so funny.
That was great. I love that.
9 years ago, time flies.
That was fun. I actually drove home that night instead of stayed over.
What do you mean from the game?
From New York, I came all the way home.
Oh.
I had a hotel, and I was like, screw it, I'm going home. Thanksgiving.
Wow.
But that was friggin' wild. Anyway, again, good night, everybody. We'll see you guys.